today I get to talk with Megan Oyster, the head coach, Kate Oyster, her daughter, who is the presentation coach, and also Alex Cook, who is a senior at CVCA, and they are all a part of the CVCA robotics team, Royal Technic Robotics team. And this is pretty new, correct, Megan? Can you tell us how this got started?
Actually, my son, who at the time was a senior, lost his coach.
Okay.
His coach moved away. And my husband is a mechanical engineer, and I organize many things.
So that's really exciting. You guys actually just got back from a competition.
We did.
So I'll go ahead and go over to Alex. Alex, tell us a little bit about that competition and what that was like for you guys.
Yeah, absolutely. So we compete in a competition called Best Robotics. And so that has 5 different parts to it. We have to build and drive a robot in competition, present on a marketing pitch, present in a team exhibit pitch. We have to have spirit and sportsmanship, and then we also have an engineering notebook, which is about 60-page technical documentation. And so in that, we at our regional competition in Denver, Colorado, which services around 300 teams. It's 900 teams across the country in nationwide, and we took second in our region overall, second in driving, first in team exhibit presentation, first in marketing presentation, and 8th in the engineering notebook. So it went.
That's amazing. Yeah, what was that like for you? What was that experience being a high school student and getting to be a part of that?
Yeah, so this was my 7th year doing this. I've since 6th grade, so 6th through my 12th grade year. And it's intense. It's a 2-day competition. The first day is the presentations, and everything has to be submitted beforehand in terms of documentation. But it's first day presentations and your sportsmanship as well. So it's, can you get your teams to the right places? Are you prepared? And that's just weeks of work put into it. And then it's show day. Show off what you've done. And competition day is intense. You're there before 7 a.m. You start at 8 a.m. and it is it's 26 teams in the regional competition. So you have 6 seeding rounds that matter to your overall score. Okay. After seeding rounds, they don't affect the overall score. In semis, it's 8 teams. You're competing every other round, so you have roughly 3 minutes in between each round. And then in the finals, it's 4 back-to-back rounds with the top 4 teams in the region. And that is, nothing can go wrong. Everything has to be, you have 30 seconds in between rounds.
Logistically, you got to have it all together, right?
Absolutely.
Kate, what is this like for you? Because you were a part of the team, and then now you're coaching the team. What was it like to go with the team and just do so well at this competition?
So I've been doing it since I was in 7th grade. Okay. That was the first year that my parents started coaching the team. Mm-hmm. I got the opportunity to be on the team exhibit presentation, which the team exhibit presentation basically is where you are demonstrating and showing judges what you did during the season, explaining how your 6 to 12 weeks looked like.
In your design process.
Yes, in your engineering design process. So when I was on that team, we started, the year before I was there, we started with quite literally just having a fold-up table with a printed out piece of paper that said CVCA on it as our booth. And so then the first year I did it was the year that we were just learning from scratch, trying to figure stuff out. We started with a PVC frame with sheets that we painted and hung signs from. And we got all the way to this point where we have now, 9 years later, a wooden structure that is foldable so that we can fit it on the charter bus that we take to Colorado. It is like very, very fancy. And it has like a TV screen in it with a button board that one of our students designed. It has these really nice posters, and this year took a space station theme. So it's very fun.
That's very fun. And was it hard to go from being a student to being a coach for you?
A bit, yeah, because coaches aren't allowed to touch anything. They aren't allowed to do anything. Our job is to explain to the kids and make sure that they can do all of it themselves. So it went from me being in like 3 or 4 different things on the team to having to take a step back and let the students that I was coaching do it all. And it was very hard at first, especially during competition.
I can
so
imagine.
I went about that by I now am one of the referees for the drive competition.
Oh, how fun. I love that. And just getting involved in new ways, and that's exciting. So, Megan, you started off by, you said you had robots that did tasks at
And
first.
that's part of Best Robotics.
And that is still part of what you do, but now you're also doing what you called a battle bot competition.
Right.
So share about that.
A couple years ago, actually right before COVID, we started developing our first BattleBot at CVCA, and we compete in the AWT RoboBots competition each April.
Okay.
Okay. And that is definitely a learn-as-you-go experience, in that we have a strong team of CAD designers, and Alex is very proficient in CAD, and my husband is a mechanical engineer,
Right.
and could teach those aspects, no problem. You need electronics that work
Yes,
inside a
yes.
BattleBot as well, and that was a totally new aspect that we had not learned before. So we have spent several years learning and developing our skill with the electronics, and now I know how to wire the BattleBots, and I teach students to do that, but I had to learn that, and we've had to learn what motor goes with what ESC inside of a BattleBot, and that's a challenge.
I can imagine. What was that like moving into the battle bots, Alex? Did you enjoy that, doing that?
Yeah,
competition?
so like I said, I joined the robotics team 6th grade.
Right.
And it was my 8th grade year where we jumped into combat robotics. It was very new. We went from really being handed designs. The way I learned to design 6th and 7th grade was our coach, Mike Oyster, would design it beforehand and then give us the design, and then we would design that part again.
Right.
And from the drawings. And so that's how we learned. And once we learned, then we could go on to actually design the bots. So from that, it took the first project to really understand it. It's one of those things, like, you know as much as you know until you actually do it.
100%. That's, it's like that in most of life, right? It's
Absolutely.
like we think we know until we do it, and then we realize we really didn't know, and we had to learn a lot.
Yeah. So that change was drastic,
Yeah.
right? We're going from, here's our robot that does tasks on a simulation of the moon, to I'm going to create a bot that spins a 400 to 800 gram piece of metal at 300 miles per hour and run it into another one until one of them ends up in a fiery pile on the ground. And as an 8th grader, right?
Fun though.
So
Especially as an 8th grader, I'm sure that you also really enjoyed that.
It's crazy. It's fun. I got to drive, which was awesome. And given our first year wasn't too exciting because we really struggled, but that bot that I worked on my 8th grade year has continued to be developed to where we're actually competing in the top 16 of over 100 bots at some of the largest combat robotics competitions in the world.
That's really exciting.
So it is really exciting.
That's really awesome for you guys. What do you hope to pass on to the kids, Kate, through robotics? Obviously, you did it for a while, and you still have a love for it. And so, what do you hope to give the students?
Well, anything that can be created is only as good if you're able to sell it. It's only as good if you're able to get it out in the world. So in Best Robotics, wow, I'm doing great. In Best Robotics, you have 2 different presentation teams, and one of them is a marketing presentation
Oh, cool.
where you have to pretend that this product is something you will actually be selling in a year or 2 once you've developed it. In BattleBots, RoboBots, there is a interview that you have to do in order to explain how you created your BattleBot, how it's going to work, what your strategy is. And we teach a bunch of different just strategies in order to look professional when you're presenting, be able to improv stuff if a question is asked that you weren't prepared for, and all of these different things, to the point where I've talked to one of the people that coached marketing before me, and he says that multiple of his past students have reached out to him saying, hey, I'm currently using a lot of these marketing skills that you taught me
Yeah.
now that I'm in college trying to go into so-and-so degree. Thank you for that.
Yeah,
And-
what good life skills? I mean, you mentioned marketing, you just mentioned interview skills. I mean, those are things that regardless of if students continue doing this or not, they're going to take those things into their lives. And so that's really important. What do you hope to take into your college years from this?
Short answer, everything.
Everything.
Long answer, like I said, there's two parts to these competitions. We have the task-based and we have the competitive. Going into studying mechanical engineering along with finance really blends the two together. So from having designed, I mean, at this point, 8, 9 combat robots total, 3 of which were entirely my own, I'm industry certified in CAD mechanical design through this program. I'm able to submit portfolios to the colleges I applied to saying, look at the things I've done. I'm capable here. And that's really exciting for me, knowing that I'm going into a field that I feel prepared for. And then on the other side of that, I am an entrepreneur at heart. I certainly love the business side of things. And so having been a part of the building of these presentations, having been a part of needing to be able to speak, but also having been a part of writing technical documentation. That's a really hard thing to do, but you need to do it to understand how the whole system works together. And so just having that understanding of the engineering side of it, but also the social side of it and the team working side of it and the documentation side of it and the marketing side of all of that really blends into what I want to be going into college and beyond that.
That's amazing. This must be exciting for you to watch a student that you guys have basically brought up through the program get to this point too. So what are you hoping for? We'll kind of end on this question for the future of CVCA robotics, but then also just robotics in general.
Well, CVCA Robotics has grown and become a great program where they are certified when they get out of the program in CAD and several other things. And that's exciting. I like to see that continue. I like seeing young kids. We start with 6th graders learn CAD and have that developed. We, as a group, work together on a team for NHRL, which is in Norwalk, Connecticut. And that initial robot, Alex was talking about designing in 8th grade as a robot. Kate now drives at NHRL and she has developed a name for herself there, which is
That's
exciting.
Awesome.
The robot's called the Cookie Crumbler, and
fun.
it's a blast. And she is pretty popular with the kids because she wears Cookie Monster eyeballs on her head, and it's just so fun.
Yeah.
So yeah, we've gotten to really enjoy that part of things as a group of people, and it is never ending because you can always make improvements. So
exactly.
Yeah, just having that challenge in our lives daily is really fun, and so
that's wonderful.
Enjoy it. Yeah.
Well, how can people follow you guys if they want to see what the team is doing, if they want to see what you guys are personally doing? Do you have social media?
Yeah, we do. So it would be Royal Technic is what you're looking for on Facebook or Instagram.
Wonderful.
And you can see what's going on with both CVCA Robotics and with our NHRL team.
Great. Thank you guys so much for being here. It's very inspiring. I love that it's like coach, assistant coach, kind of heading it up, and then student, that you all came in together and just such an integral part of the team. So thank you for being here today.
Well, thank you for having us.
Yeah, of course. Thank you guys for being here too. All right. Thank you for watching Good Morning Akron, everyone. We have some more great stuff coming up next, so stay tuned.